So this video shows you how to run libEnsemble with Balsam, utilizing more than one system. For this you need at least Balsam version 0.6, which has the multi-site capability. So the idea is you run libEnsemble on one system, and a selected user application will be sent off to run on another system. So in this example, system 1, for convenience, will be my laptop, and system 2 will be the Theta supercomputer at ALCF at Argonne. So I'll be running libEnsemble with all manager and workers running on my laptop, and also the user sim or gen functions on those workers are also running on the laptop. But in this case, when the executor running within a sim function submits a user application, that will be sent over to run on Theta. I should point out that in this example of Balsam, you currently need to have ALCF credentials in order to authenticate with the Balsam server. That may change in the future, hopefully it will. So I'm starting by just creating a fresh Conda environment on my laptop, and I'm going to snip out wait times, but in most cases everything here should be pretty quick. So I've created a fresh Conda environment like this, and activated it. Now I'm going to git clone libEnsemble. Now I'm going to change drive to libEnsemble, and I should have this. Now I need to check out the develop branch, but by the time you see this video you shouldn't need to do that. And I'm going to install this locally. And then I'm going to change drive to libEnsemble, tests, scaling tests, forces, Balsam forces. You may get rid of the underscore forces in that last part. And so now you're here. And on here I will also pip install Balsam. Okay. So I've now, here I have logged into Theta, and I've created a new Conda environment and activated it. And I'm just going to make a new directory here and change drive to that. And now all I need from libEnsemble is the forces application itself, the forces.c. But just to get that, I'm going to clone libEnsemble here on Theta. And for me, I need to check out develop. But hopefully you won't need to do that by the time you see this video. And now I change drive to, oops. Also on test scaling says forces app. And that's where the forces application lives. And then we just need to compile that, which for Theta looks like this. It's various compile lines and build forces. And now I'm just going to pip install Balsam here. First just check that we've got forces.x. Yep. Doesn't matter about the OpenMP. Now I'm going to do Balsam login, which is here, and I may already be logged in, so if you're not already logged in, when you run this, it will give you a link to go to log in with your LCF credentials. I don't need to do that in this case. And now I'm going to create a new Balsam site, and I'm calling it demo site, and then I'm appending the name of the current login node. Because the site does run on a particular node, you don't have to always be on that node, but if you change something and want to sync it, then you need to be on the node, so it's good to have that in the name. And now here it suggests the default name. I'm going to call it the same name as my directory. That's up to you. But this is actually what I'm putting in here now is the name of the site, which we may refer to later. The directory can be called something different. I'm going to go to Theta KNL. There we are. Should be able to see that we have a site directory, and in it you'll see settings.yaml, there's the log, that directory, and there's a data directory, and inside that is where the output of runs are going to actually go. Now you can check here using Balsam site ls to see if your site is already active, and it is. If it was not active, I could use Balsam site start to activate it. And also note the ID here 269, which we'll use in a minute. So now I'll go back to my laptop here, and I'm going to open up define apps and run libforces Balsam. And here's define apps. Now the first app here is remote libEnsemble app, and that's for only if you're running your libEnsemble calling script itself through Balsam, which we're not going to do here. The next one is the remote forces, and that we do want to run through Balsam. So I'm going to, in here, put the name of our site, which was this. And then this is the location of the forces app that we built. So I'll put in my username and this, and that should be it. And then here it syncs these with Balsam. So the first one is the libEnsemble app, which we're not using, so make sure that's commented out. And then it's just syncing remote forces. Now, this is still on my laptop. I'm going to do Python define apps, and this should register those apps with Balsam. It says I'm not logged in. Which is a bit strange. Let's make sure I am logged in here. Yeah, my token had expired. Authenticate your credentials and come back here. So we now have to navigate to the given site. Just do that now. So if you do need to log in with exactly as though I am logging into Theta, which I will do now. So if I use my crypto token, save, and authorize. And then here I am. Now, let's just try Python define apps again, and this time it should work. And if I do Balsam app ls, it should show me, yeah, it showed me that it's now registered. There's also a previous one from a previous attempt, but ignore that. And so now we're going to our other file, which is the calling script. We're going to make Balsam site our site, and then scroll down to this section, which is executor.submit allocation. And so when we run, Balsam is going to launch a job submission script on Theta, which will create a node allocation. And then as libEnsemble submits application runs through the executor, these will be sent to Theta, and they will run within that node allocation. If the allocation is still queuing, those will still be queued until it runs. And then afterwards, when all done, we'll revoke that allocation. Now, the main thing I need to change here is the site ID. So if we go look on when we did Balsam site ls, it's 269. And then the rest of this information here for me is right num nodes is I'm going to request 4 nodes. Now I'm going to be running 4 workers. And then you've got the wall clock queue name project. Okay. Now, if we just wanted to set these forces runs off on Theta, you could do that now. But in our sim function, it looks at the forces stat file produced by each run, and then the forces file gets the F value from that. Okay, delete that. So if we just wanted our forces run Theta, now we could, but we need our sim function will check the forces stat file that's produced from each run. And in order to do that, we are going to be sending that back to our local machine, laptop. And that's going to be done via Globus, so we can set that up now. So I'm now going to make sure I'm connected to Globus. If you have not used Globus before, you'll need to go to globus.org and it will tell you how to download Globus Connect Personal and create an endpoint for your local machine, which is also known as a collection. And there's some pretty good videos on YouTube to help do that. So I'm just going to another window here, and so once you've downloaded Globus Connect Personal, you can make sure that's running. It brings up a small window, which I don't know if it's visible in the video, but you can click Connect, and then we should be able to go to Globus here and make sure I'm logged in. Go to endpoints. So this is the endpoint set up for Theta, and this is what I've set up here. I've got it test collection, and collection is because it's the collection of files that you're sharing, but it's essentially the same thing as an endpoint. And once these are set up, this endpoint ID is what you're going to need, and also that name of the collection, test collection. Those two things we're going to need now. So now I'll go back to Theta, and I'm going to see if I'm logged in here. Balsam site Globus login. You're already logged in. If not, you'll go to Globus and authenticate there. Now, the thing I have to do now, I have to be in the site directory that we created, and I'm going to modify the settings.yaml, and we're going to go down to transfer locations, and then in here, first we're going to put the name of our endpoint for the laptop, which is this, colon Globus, colon // and then we're going to go here, and we're going to put in this UUID of the endpoint. So remember, we're on Balsam now, we're on Theta now, and we're telling it the location of our laptop. And having modified the settings.yaml, we need to do Balsam site sync. Now we should be ready to run. If we go back to the laptop, I'm going to make sure there's no jobs still here. Balsam jobs, remove all. Sorry, it's Balsam job remove all. Balsam job remove -- all. So I always do that before running. And now we can run, just as if we were running locally. Times local, let's make this a bit wider, and envelope is 4. And I'm just running this on my laptop. Damn. And okay. And that is because we forgot one thing, which is this Globus endpoint, which is what we called test collection. And I'm modifying that in the run script. So we have the Balsam site modder to modify, Globus endpoint, and then the site ID down here, and then the other details. Let's clean up, and then I'm just going to run that again. So I've now cleaned up from that mistake, and I'm going to try and run again. And hopefully it'll work this time. Let's go over to Theta, and I'm going to check that queue. And it's probably not going to come in straight away, so I will give it a moment and just snip the video. Okay, and now you can see that there is a job starting there, so Balsam has launched the job. So it's got a node allocation now, and any application runs being launched by libEnsemble should be going through to that. So here we are in the site directory on Balsam. We go into data, and I created a libEnsemble workflow directory, and There are some directories in there, and it looks like things are starting, but it's not yet run the applications, and now it has. And so those look like they're running okay. So there's 4 workers, each running 1 application, so that's the first 4, and it should be doing 2 rounds of that. So here, where we run it, it's showing that the first 4 have finished. And now there's more running. And then when it's done, it should revoke the job allocation, and hopefully we'll be able to look at some results. Let's just open another tab. You can see we've got the stats. And task fail is okay here. Some of the tasks are supposed to fail in this example currently. libEnsemble.log shows things being run through Balsam. And then in Ensemble we'll have just got it copied back, which is just the stat file for each simulation. And that's finished. And now, if given it a moment, we can go back here and see that despite our 30-minute request, the allocation has been revoked. And so everything should be cleaned up. And that is how to run libEnsemble on one system, submitting chosen applications to another system via Balsam. Thank you very much.